Today on Stuff Chat, we have a closer look at one of the most evil, repugnant, parasitical creatures imaginable. I'm talking about ticks. Nature's curse upon animals and mankind. Unfortunately, it is that time of year again when these bloodsuckers completely and totally swarm onto other living things like your pets and suck on their blood and give them fever from which the animal then dies. This murderer right here already killed a tortoise. I found him close to my house where also a dead tortoise was laying, completely invaded inside the shell by hundreds of these things. That was actually 2 days ago already. But this one, when he let go of the tortoise, somehow fell on his back, and he was swollen so fat with all the blood of the victim that he simply could not get up again. You can actually see he's been there, laying there almost 2 days. You see the back is already starting to sink in like an empty bag, because he's had to live on the blood inside him for 2 days now. I've been meaning to squash him, but also not looking forward to it because it creates such an explosion of diseased blood that I'm always scared I'm gonna get it in my mouth. This isn't the biggest one I've ever seen, but you can see here it is almost as big as a thumb. This one is just not as swollen. Usually they're swollen much bigger than this when they are full of blood. But yeah, the biggest one I've seen was about as big as a thumb. Like that, I would say. I don't know if you've ever seen a bigger one than that. Of course, ticks overall range from microscopic little dust speck size to about as big as a thumb. That's the biggest I've seen anyway. So anyway, I brought him here today so that we can have a closer look under the microscope. I don't know if we're gonna find anything special that we cannot see with the naked eye, but it has happened before sometimes that I put living creatures under a microscope and then you are surprised at what you see there. Not at all what you expected, judging from what you saw with the naked eye. So, well, let's do the upside first. Right side up. What will we see? Does it, for example, have eyes? Let me just see, somehow you can record with this microscope. There we go, it's recording. Let's see, does it have eyes? Nothing special so far. Let's go down some more. Okay, that's a leg. There's this little snout thingy. No, it seems there aren't any eyes anywhere around here. Seems the whole thing is almost just a bag. Yeah, there's this little sucker and his segmented legs. Can it really be that these things don't have any eyes? Do they just smell the blood or what? Let's see if we turn him around. What do we find on the bottom? Yeah, no. Here you can see there aren't any eyes on the bottom either. Just that little sucker thingy. These markings, what are they? There seems to be a little hole, and then these two things. These very alien looking things. And that other hole. Will we see anything if we go in closer? I don't think so. Let me just turn on the lights on this microscope. I turned them off because on this plastic it really just created a lot of shine and glare. There's his leg close up. And there's where it's attached to his body or bag or whatever it even is. Now, where was that hole? Doesn't really look like much. Alright, while we're zoomed in like this, let's just see if there really aren't any eyes. I mean, how does he actually see, or doesn't he see? Does he go on the smell of blood or body heat or whatever? There is his mouth. That little sucker bit. This shininess is just now shininess on the plastic. Let me turn the LED lights off. There is his little sucker mouth thingy. He does seem to move that around. But yeah, I don't know. We're not really seeing anything special here. I don't see anything that resembles eyes there. You know what? No, I think that's about as much as we're gonna see here. Not quite as interesting as I thought it might be. I thought maybe he has little eyes, or maybe he has more than 2 eyes. You usually find all sorts of interesting things on insects and spiders and whatnot. But this creature, no, he's just plain ugly. Ugly and evil. Naturally evil and parasitic. And bad news for anybody and everybody, except those white birds that like to eat the ticks off of the animals. Well, at least you did get to learn the basics, like how many legs does a tick have? Seems he has those 2 feelers, and then 1, 2, 3 legs more, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 legs on a side, and then a spot there. What is that spot here on the side? Does he have that on the other side as well? Yeah, he does have it on the other side. Spot there and a spot on the bottom. Well, if you feel like doing the research to tell us what all these spots and markings are, drop it in the comments. Maybe you already know because you have biology, or maybe you're a veterinarian. So that then is Ticky the Tick. Now, like and subscribe, and we'll chat about more stuff on Stuff Chat next time.